During the second day, we had a lot of different plenary sessions and presentations about corruption, about poverty alleviation, economic development. And so what we, for instance, had is that we had a lot of young people who were trying to change the world and also trying to have a big influence within the countries that they're living in. For instance, a lot of African young people who were trying to really find a solution for poverty, but also young doctors who are trying to increase and improve the health status and levels and standards that they are having in those countries. Now, we also had an interesting presentation by Muhammad Yunus in which he talked about three goals that he's trying to achieve. And first one is zero poverty, of course. The second one is zero unemployment. And the third one is zero net carbon emission. All of these are very interesting and very complex to solve, but when you zoom in, when you get closer to the core, you'll see that it's much simpler than we have thought. At the same time, Muhammad Yunus also talked about the flaws that we have in a capitalist system, and some of these are, for instance, the assumption that we humans behave out of self-interest and not caring for each other. Second thing is what he talked about is that we need a job to survive, although jobs are not in our humanistic system, according to Muhammad Yunus. And he advised the whole audience to become a job creator instead of a job seeker. At the same time, I got the chance to question a panel which was presenting and talking about poverty, what, according to them, the root cause of poverty is or was. And I got some quite interesting answers to my questions, and just to name some. One was unethical leadership. Second one was the dysfunctions of governments in countries and actually around the world. And a third one was we should get rid of governments, because governments seems to be the main cause of a lot of issues in the world. Although I don't really agree with the last opinion, but it sounds very interesting how a world without governments, etc., or any leadership would look like. Moreover, we also had a presentation by the French entrepreneur Jérôme Jarre. He's a social media entrepreneur. So he also talked about that we should not help poor people, countries with a lot of poverty, etc., by giving them, for instance, goats, rice, food, any other type of aid. But he advised us just to give them money, because most importantly is that these people need to get engaged, need to become more engaged with the community. And whenever you give someone money, if it's a child, if it's a woman, if it's a male or whatever, they will be forced to use this money, go to the market, talk to other, communicate, and for instance buy stuff, buy local food, local products, etc. And this would help an area with poverty, with dysfunction, etc., to really become better, instead of waiting for humanitarian aid or waiting for Europeans or Western people in order to come and really mean something to them. So, for instance, what he did as well is he distributed cell phones among the people, poor people, and what he noticed is that a lot of them started to share their stories, their day-by-day life, and etc. So it was really something new that these people could share with the whole world. Later on, we got a chance to interview him. We asked him some questions about how does his NGO or organization help the world in a more better direction.
All of you today is to travel the world less traveled. You are not alone. I wish for you courage,
We also saw the speech given by Doutzen Kroes, who is a Dutch photo model and activist. Her organization is fighting for, or actually saving, the elephants in the world. In between the plenary sessions and different workshops, we also, of course, got the chance to meet new people, talk to them, communicate, network, and it was really interesting to see that a lot of these young people, young leaders, are actually on the same page as I and my fellow ambassadors are, and it seems that we all also share a common goal, because we see quite some injustice, some inequality, some discrimination, and we all feel the interesting motivation and the urge to really bring a change to this world or system. So it was really interesting to see during the first day how many similar and like-minded people actually exist in the world and really try to mean something and really want to face the world problems and be the change that we want to be.